Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Ravi Maharaj, and I'm excited to welcome each of you to our second 4BLUENJ and NJDOC Workplace Wellness webinar series. 4BLUENJ is a peer support program and helpline that works to support corrections officers and all correctional facility staff. We are honored to partner with the New Jersey Department of Corrections and to show our appreciation for the incredible work they do day in and day out. Throughout our webinar, you'll be hearing from the 4BLUENJ program director and our peers, and we hope to hear from you as well throughout the webinar. We will be recording this webinar for those who are unable to attend. Even if your camera is on, your picture will not be displayed in the recording. However, if you'd feel more comfortable being off camera and changing your name, now is the time to do it. We are honored to also be collaborating with Willie Bonds, Acting Deputy Commissioner from the New Jersey DOC, who has been working closely with our program to promote this webinar series and to find different ways to support corrections officers throughout the state. I'll now hand off to Willie Bonds.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Willie Bonds, the Acting Deputy Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Corrections. We are happy to be hosting our first NJDOC 4BLUENJ Workforce Wellness Series. Thank you to you all who have taken the time to join us today to support this important and impactful initiative. Please use the chat feature to introduce yourself and your facility. We have designed this webinar to learn more about each and every one of you and how the 4BLUENJ program can better support our effort to improve employee physical, emotional, and mental health. Being a longtime DOC employee with both custody and civilian experience, I understand the complexities and the challenges of working in a correctional setting and the importance of employee wellness. It is why I am especially pleased to begin our webinar with an introduction from the 4BLUENJ team. I will now turn it over to Cherie Castellano.
Thank you so much and welcome. My name is Cherie Castellano. I'm the director of the Rutgers National Center for Peer Support, and it's an honor to be with you today and to introduce our team. We're going to hear from our peer support specialist, our supervising mental health specialist, and we're going to learn about self-regulation as we move forward to build our resilience. Next slide. The 4BLUENJ DOC Workplace Wellness webinar series kicked off in February when we looked at self-awareness with corrections officers in terms of reflection and resilience. Today, we'll talk about the 4BLUENJ self-regulation on how we can empower officer health in the New Jersey Department of Corrections. Moving forward, we'll cover topics such as mental agility, celebrating connection, and optimism in our series. Next. The National Center for Peer Support at Rutgers University Behavioral Health Care has been around for more than 20 years. Our focus is on high-risk populations where we look to have access and availability for those who serve others. We target cultural and strength-based approaches to peer support with peers and clinicians as partners. And with over 200 peers, we've been recognized a national best practice in peer support. We understand that peer support is about prevention, intervention, and postvention. And we're so excited to have the 4BLUENJ program be one of our many important components in our first responder unit at the National Center for Peer Support. Next. So you'll see these posters, the 1-888-425-8365. If you can grab your phones and take a screenshot or get this telephone number somewhere where you can always get to it, we know that maybe you'll call for yourself, a family member, someone who you work with, but we want you to make sure you understand how to get to us both by phone as well as our web address. Next. When we think about what we do in our mission at the 4BLUE New Jersey Peer Support Lifeline, it's really to offer peer support with our retired corrections officers and cop clinicians who understand the challenges you face every day on this job. Our services include peer prevention services such as trainings like this with our wellness webinar, QPR for correction officer training, and resilience training. We offer intervention with peer support on the 1-800 number line, where you can receive ongoing telehealth peer support from one of the members of our team. We can offer clinical assessment over the phone. We have a network of referrals and resources, and we're even available for you with psychological first aid services after a critical incident. Next. We understand at Rutgers University Behavioral Healthcare that all of our work should be grounded in best practices. So this resiliency effort that we have is founded in the UPenn model by Dr. Seligman, which is an evidence-based model that talks about 6 skills and resiliency: self-awareness, strength of character, connection, optimism, mental agility, and what we'll be talking about today, which is self-regulation. Next. Self-regulation is defined broadly as the ability to change one's thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and physiology in the service of a desired outcome. But I think self-regulation takes on a whole new definition when we apply it to the New Jersey Department of Corrections. Next. Our experience has been with self-regulation and the NJDOC is that maybe this task or this skill set in your resilience varies daily based on the facility or the experience you're having during the course of your workday. We understand that crises can impact how you self-regulate with critical incident stress management, or what you call CISM services, important to be available to help mitigate post-traumatic stress response after critical incidents. And we also know that self-regulation and your team at the New Jersey Department of Corrections can be impacted by external issues, where we talk about things in wellness dimensions like your physical health, your financial well-being, your spiritual well-being. There are several things that can impact your self-regulation. Next. It's my honor now to introduce Angela Hinton, our peer counselor at 4BLUENJ. Angela?
Hello, everyone. I'm Angela Hinton, retired correctional police sergeant out of Northern State Prison, where I did 25 years. My self-regulation and my experience was separating work and home life. I didn't take work home, and I didn't take home to work with personal problems. I made sure to prioritize my kids, and I was there for every event that they had because I know it meant a lot to them. So to me, my self-regulation was really making home my priority, and my children, especially when they were younger. So now I'm going to pass it off to my peer, Sabrina.
Thank you, Angela. My name is Sabrina Howard Mills, and I'm a peer counselor for Cop to Cop and 4BLUE. I retired after 27 years in law enforcement. My self-regulation and my experiences to self-regulate myself, I pray, I read, I take walks, I work out, I have girls' night out. Family is very important to me, so I take care of my family and I give back to you. I am the wife of a corrections officer, so I understand the stress and the things that you guys go through. Now I would like to turn it over to Ravi.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I appreciate both you and Angela sharing your perspectives. And now let's hear another perspective from correctional officers and what you may face day in and day out.
Louisville Metro Police officers, EMS workers, corrections officers, and social workers. They deal with the worst of the worst every day. That's why many are attending a symposium to help them with sensitivity training and mindfulness.
We deal with people at their worst. And, unfortunately, as much as we try not to take our job home, it is difficult.
Murder, traffic fatalities, violent inmates, drug-induced assaults, and people struggling with mental illness. Louisville's first responders handle it all every day. What follows for many is fatigue, burnout, depression, anger, and inability to decompress.
Men and women of Louisville Metro Corrections are exposed to an environment on a daily basis that is just negative to the extreme.
That's why many first responders attended this mindfulness and corrections symposium.
So we're giving people skills to take better care of themselves
which is also going to help them be more effective in their communications with others and with the people that they're working with.
Learning about meditation and finding their emotional strength, responders learn to acknowledge their fears and take responsibility.
Being able to take I statements, being able to own our own responsibility and what we've done, and then being able to change it. Because once we own it, we're able to change it.
But while learning to address their needs, they're also learning the best way to relate to some of the most violent offenders.
This is really about people connecting as one human being to another.
These responders learn to consider someone's feelings of disrespect, broken trust, discrimination, or history of abuse.
Now, so many of these situations get out of hand because people have a sense that they're not being listened to, especially young people. So to develop that kind of skill, again, is very helpful.
With the symposium and the twofold training, these departments that serve the city are hoping to improve the city and themselves. Ann Bowden, WLKY News.
And now I'd like to pass it back to Angela.
Hi. So some of the challenges as a corrections officer and eventually becoming a supervisor was to not become emotional when dealing with certain situations when things don't always go as planned, getting upset because things don't go the way you wanted, or sad because maybe what you did may not have worked out, then you become sad. You have to be willing to listen to others' ideas, even though you may not agree. You still have to make an effort to listen to them. And you definitely have to work based on facts and not your own opinion, because it's your opinion, which means it may not necessarily be correct for the job at that time. And now I'm going to pass it over to Sabrina.
My challenges as a family member, I recognize the ups and downs, daily decision making. I allow my husband to come home and decompress and not go at him right away with something. I have to prioritize what's more important at that time. And I have to be aware of my own stressors and things that go on. And being that he has a position where he has to help his entire correctional family within the jail, being the PBA president, there's a lot more that I need to understand about him and recognizing him and not just bark at him for any little thing, and just give him time to just decompress.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. And I appreciate the differences in the challenges from a family member and also what Angela shared as a corrections officer. And now I'd like to pass it back to Jess Carrera so we can talk a little bit about self-regulation challenges and some tactics.
Thank you, Ravi. Hi, everyone. I'm Jess Correa, mental health specialist and wellness specialist at Rutgers University Behavioral Healthcare. Let's talk about how you react or respond to stressful situations. Situations out of your control are bound to arise, especially in this line of work, and it can be helpful to analyze how you confront these situations. Do you tend to react, where you have little control over your initial reaction, or do you tend to respond, where you create space between yourself and the reaction? If you notice yourself reacting to a situation, the chances of that situation escalating become higher. Whereas if you choose to respond to a situation, the situation tends to have a calmer outcome. One way to be mindful of your reaction or response to a situation is to use the stop practice. Next slide. The stop practice focuses on 4 steps that can help you respond to a situation rather than reacting to it. The first step is to stop. Pause, settle down, look away, and disengage. Next, you're going to take a breath. Take a few deep breaths and notice your body becoming more relaxed. Then you're going to observe. Observe your body and how it feels. Observe your thoughts and your emotions. And finally, you're going to proceed with what feels like the best next step. So the next time you find yourself in a stressful situation where you think you might react, take a moment to stop. Next. Last webinar, we focused on self-awareness and how important it is in building our resilience. Let's reflect on how to maintain your self-awareness when these stressful situations arise. You may recognize stress in yourself or in others, by noticing memory issues, overthinking, avoidance, sweating, stomach issues, panic attacks, trouble breathing, lack of patience, trouble concentrating, procrastination, constant worrying, needing reassurance, headaches, rapid heartbeat, and insomnia. All these factors influence your stress levels and potential health risks. So it's important to learn how to manage our stressors and how to make sure you're taking care of your mental health. Next slide. We can combat these signs of stress by using daily affirmations and focusing on positive statements. Using I am statements is a great way to create self-encouragement, create new pathways in your brain, relieve stress, and improve your mood. Affirmations are great because they can be used anywhere and at any time, during a tough shift, on your way home from work, or when you wake up in the morning. You can choose to write them down, speak them out loud, or think them to yourself. Next slide. We're going to be practicing some affirmations together. As I read these aloud, try repeating them aloud or in your head. First one is I am safe.
I
I am safe.
Safe.
I am in control.
I
am
am
in
in
control.
control.
I am capable of doing hard things.
I am
am
capable
Capable
of
of
doing
doing
of doing
hard
hard
things.
things.
I am resilient.
I
I am resilient.
I am calm.
I
I
am
am
calm.
calm.
I am loved.
I
I
am
am
loved.
loved.
I am appreciated.
I am
appreciated.
appreciated.
I am a hard worker.
I am
I
a hard
am
worker.
a hard worker.
I do my best every day.
I do my best every
every
day.
every day.
I believe in myself.
I
I
believe.
believe in myself.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am deserving.
I am deserving.
Great. Thank you all so much for participating. Go to the next slide. Now we'd love to hear from you in the chat. How do you self-regulate in stressful situations? Please share your answers with us. We'll be responding in the chat as well. We're going to be moving on to our activity, but keep those answers coming in. Next slide. While we continue to hear your answers in the chat, let's practice a self-regulation activity together. We're going to be practicing alternate nostril breathing. We encourage you to do what feels best and most comfortable during this activity. If you prefer to be off camera for this, please feel free to do so. And when you're ready, get comfortable in a seated position. I'll be guiding you through the activity twice, and when you're done, I'll give you a few seconds to take a screenshot of the diagram so you can practice this on your own as well. When you're ready, place both feet flat on the floor and we'll get started with step 1 on the diagram. First step is to close your right nostril with your thumb. Take a deep breath in through your left nostril and hold to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, you're going to close your left nostril with your right finger. Hold both nostrils briefly closed, and then open your left nostril and breathe out to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Step 4 is to breathe in through your right nostril to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now close your right nostril with your thumb and hold both nostrils briefly closed. The last step is to open your left nostril and breathe out to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a moment to think about how that felt for you. Maybe this was your first time doing it and you're still getting comfortable with the technique, but that's okay. We're going to be repeating it one more time. Let's start with the first step on the diagram again. Close your right nostril with your thumb and breathe in through your left nostril to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now close your left nostril with your right finger. Hold both nostrils closed. And then open your left nostril and breathe out to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in through your right nostril to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close your right nostril with your thumb. Hold both nostrils closed. And then open your left nostril and breathe out to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, hopefully you all feel a little more relaxed after that self-regulation activity. I'll now be passing it back over to Cherie for some final thoughts and our wrap up.
Thank you so much. It seems to me that self-regulation is sort of personal in terms of what we're all comfortable with. But I think there are some general rules of thumb that we understand when we think about self-regulation in the context of all the skills that we understand relate to our resilience. We have to be self-aware, which is what we heard about in our first webinar, to really understand when we need to self-regulate so that we can monitor what's happening with ourselves. We have to be conscious of the fact that our own thoughts and feelings and behavior and what's going on around us does have the ability to impact us. And it's okay if it does. We just have to remember to stop and use the techniques that Jess shared with us to be able to self-regulate rather than feel out of control or stressed. The benefits of self-regulation are very varied, but we understand that there's research that suggests that when we're self-aware, when we self-regulate, when we manage our emotions and our environment properly, it really has an impact on our relationships, on our physical health, on our communication, and really can play an important part in our overall well-being and success in life. So we're hoping that you will build on the self-awareness from last webinar and the self-regulation and what we've shared in this webinar to move forward to be the best version of yourself and to build your resilience through these webinars. Next. Just to keep you posted, our next webinar is the 4BLUE New Jersey Mental Agility, which is about endurance and faith. Again, we're going to continue to build on the skills, self-awareness, self-regulation, and now understanding our mental agility. And faith is such a big part of that as we move through our work in the New Jersey Department of Corrections. So it's been such an honor to be with you. And I'm going to pass it back now and look forward to seeing you with our team in the next webinar.